Hi, everybody. Thanks
Hello.
for joining us. This is Thanks for Not Dying, our podcast. This is our fourth episode now, and joining me is my daughter Taylor and my twin sister Jen.
Hi, everyone.
And this is a journey about my mental health illness I've had for about 15 years. In the past year, I've had some struggles.
So how are you feeling today about the last podcast, the last episode when we were talking about your attempt? And I know it was really hard for you. It's hard for all of us to kind of to remember all that and to for you to relive that. Right. So how are you feeling?
I feel pretty good about it, actually, and better than I thought.
Okay.
Better than I thought I would. It is like therapy, kind of like hearing about it, because I don't remember most of what had happened with my attempt and everything. So just hearing about it, it's awful to hear about. But it is good therapy, and I'm sure it's good therapy for you guys to talk about it too. I mean, I think people should open up more about how their well-being's feeling and all that.
Mm-hmm. We've had a great response from people in the neighborhood and Taylor's friends as well. I think it is, really hitting home for a lot of people that it is kind of surprising to realize that there's a lot more mental health and unfortunately a lot more suicide attempts and actual attempts that go through.
So and people that struggle more than you would think that they would.
Right. And people hide it. I mean, obviously I try to hide it for the longest time, and after a while it's almost unbearable. So it is easier to talk about it now, for sure, that I'm feeling well. I'm all back to normal, whatever normal is.
Is there a normal? I don't think there's a normal.
Exactly.
We're very proud of you.
Thank you.
I've been talking about it. It's a great thing to do.
Thank you. Proud of you guys.
Thank you.
Very proud of you guys.
So this episode, you want to kind of dive back in and
we can dive back in.
Where we left off.
I think we left off where I was on life support.
Yes.
And I don't remember, so you guys can take over.
Okay.
So it's kind of a really sad but scary and everything else in between. But so the last thing we stopped at in our last episode was when Tay actually got into the family room. I'm Jen, by the way. But so Tay came in, myself, and her husband Mike got called into the family room after she was put on life support. And then Tay came in screaming, yelling, trying to find me and Mike, and then she came into the family room and she collapsed. She was so scared.
And I didn't really know what was going on. I mean, you hear life support and you think it's death.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where my mind went.
And if she's going to wake up or not, who knew? But so it was terrifying. So then after that, it was probably 30 minutes before we were able to go see her and her life support equipment and everything. And that was just so sad. It's really scary. She was, of course, hooked up on a breathing machine. She was intubated, just completely out of it. But me, Mike, and Tay went back into the room, and we saw her, and of course we were.
And Nate too. Nate was there.
He was able to come back there.
Yeah, because at first we had to take turns, but once they put on life support, they left us back there together.
Yeah, that's what this bout of depression and anxiety was about. So this was her first attempt after. So this was in November of 2024. And we were dealing with it, of course, for 15 years, but within just about 3 months before that is when her anxiety and depression is coming back slowly. But I have to kind of give her, just reiterate how much she was trying so hard to get help before this. I mean, she was really, really, she knew she was sick. She knew she was ill. She knew she was having some pain all over her body. We had taken her in and out of the emergency room. Different doctors. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how many doctors there were. But she finally ended up going to Cleveland Clinic, and then she actually had to admit herself, which I praise her for that because that has had to be so hard to do. She actually admitted herself into the psych ward in Cleveland Clinic. So I just want to reiterate how hard it is for people with any kind of mental illness to get to see a psychiatrist, because they told her it would be 3 to 4 months at least before she could see a psychiatrist, unless she was in a psych ward.
Which is horrible. I mean, think about it. You're at the lowest point in your life. You have nowhere to turn. You don't know what to do. You're just struggling mentally, and then you're essentially being turned away, left, right, and center until they say, well, just check yourself in. And even then, you did that, and you're thinking, okay, this is like the golden ticket. I'm finally going to talk to someone, and it's going to cure me, it's going to help. And then it just really didn't, because you go there thinking that this is going to be place that's going to help you the most. And
And how long was she in the first psych ward?
not very long,
4
days,
Four
3 or
days.
4 days.
And then it was just a month after that she had her first attempt at suicide. And so that was just, I mean, just horrifying for us. But yeah, I want to have you take it over from here, Tay, from the life support the room where we were at with life support and
Yeah.
kind of what you were thinking and what was going through your mind.
Well, I feel like the room itself was so, like, the first thing I thought was it seemed like we were, like, everyone could see us. Kind of. Didn't you feel like that? Like, it seemed like she was in the middle of everything. And it just felt like everyone was staring at us because they could see her on life support. I mean, it's not
Like the doctors and nurses.
yeah, I mean, even anybody that walked back into the ER,
Oh.
like if they were there visiting a family or they were there to be seen, like
Wow.
you could see you, and they warn you, like it's gonna be really difficult to see. So, you're just prepping yourself for the worst and just walking in and just seeing you like unconscious, obviously, and hooked up to all these machines. And it was just a
Do
really
you remember what you said?
surreal moment. I think I said, this is fucking bullshit.
You said, "No, I can't.
It's probably something like
This
that.
isn't. This is fucked up.
This is
This
fucked
is
up.
fucked up." And I'm like, "It really is. This is so fucked up." Tay, you're right. Took the words out of my mouth. Pretty much.
Yeah. And there's so many things that were running through my mind, I'm sure yours and Mike's, and Nate's too, like frustrated and the fact that it got this bad. Like, how could we have not been able to help you? Like
It's just the help.
Yeah.
And you're, the family member trying so hard and it's horrible watching you be miserable and suffering. And then the trauma that you're going through that you're trying to tell us in your own words what it's like the pain you're having, the heaviness in your chest, the shakiness, the nausea. I mean, you lost, because she went down to like 110 pounds.
you were
Yeah,
really
because
small.
She couldn't
Yeah.
eat. She couldn't, nothing. She had no appetite whatsoever. So that was just so hard. I remember every time you were in the car with me, I would try to get you to go to McDonald's with me or somewhere fast food. And I was gaining weight. Like, come on, just eat something.
And anyone that knows us knows we love to eat.
Right.
You love eating.
I
You
love
food. We all love eating. So
Oh,
for
yeah.
you to be like that, we were like, something really not right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so just being in there and thinking this is so just fucked up, like the whole situation. And I think it really became real in that moment how bad you were struggling and still not understanding the full depth of it, right? I mean, I
Right.
know you're super unhappy and you're not yourself, and it's just like I just wish I could have known exactly what your brain was telling you for you to think that this is what you needed to do.
Right.
It's really hard to wrap your mind around, especially like you say, looking at your life, it's like people think like, oh, well, you have all these things in your life. How are you depressed? It's like, that's not how it works though. You could have everything in the world. Look at all these celebrities and all these rich people that have mental illness and that do commit suicide. It does not matter what you have or what you don't have. Mental health illness will, take over.
Or even, it doesn't even matter what the support you have. The amazing family that you have. Yes, we're amazing.
Yeah, they
But
are.
it doesn't matter. It was just an illness. It really is an illness that you have. And we, tried so hard, to make you better and
Yeah.
nothing. I mean, you even tried your hardest. I mean,
You did.
admitting
Yeah.
yourself into a psych ward. I mean, that's as
Such a brave thing to
it
do.
really is.
I tried. I did. I really did try. There's just
You definitely did
Yeah.
try. And I think too that's something that people don't understand unless they see it firsthand. Is people are like, "Well, just snap out of it."
right.
I don't get why are you sad?
Yep.
And it's not even sadness, right? It's this heaviness and feeling physically ill. People have bad days, right? I mean, we talk about this all the time. Like nobody has a good day every day. I mean, maybe some people do, and that's great for them. But people think, "Oh, you're just having a bad day," but it's chronic bad
It
days,
is
and it's
chronic,
deep,
yeah.
and it's horrible, and it's scary, and it's not just sadness. And I think that's
24/7.
something
Yeah.
even probably when you had depression, for 15 years that I still, maybe didn't understand. And now it's a lot easier to, kind of grasp what you're going through. Still, I will never know because it was something you experienced, but it's not just a bad day. And I really want people to understand mental illness is a disease, right? I mean, it's not just being sad.
Exactly. Yep.
It's not that there's no magic pill.
No.
For sure. And I know you kept saying that over. There's just some magic pill that I could take and make myself feel better. And I remember your mornings were the worst.
Yeah.
I remember that every morning we knew, my tone in your voice, that it was not going to be a good day.
Mhm.
Just waking up and hearing you call me or I call you, because after a while you weren't even calling us.
No,
I know Tay was getting nervous.
because we would talk on the phone every single day before that, especially when I was pregnant. Obviously, like every day we would joke. I would call him, "Is a baby time?" Towards the end, you know. Then I have a baby, and I'm like, "Why is my mom not fucking calling me?"
Yeah.
Like, hello. One, I just want to talk to her, but like, two, I need her. You know. So that was weird for sure. But yeah, so we were in the room. We all kind of walked back there, and I say, you know, this is so fucked up. I think I even like threw a tissue or something. Like I was just so, there's just so many feelings.
Throw your purse on the chair.
Yeah, I was not anger at you. I mean, anger at you, but I know you couldn't help it. But it's just anger in general, right? Like this is just so
It was
unfair.
kind of like, why would you put us through this, or how could you do this to us? And not, not taking it personally, but it was. I mean, it was hard on us.
Oh, I'm sure.
Not understanding what you were going through.
Yeah.
And the more we get into it, we start understanding.
Mhm.
Especially when you wake up from life support. So go ahead, take it.
Yeah, well, and then we all just kind of sat down, like around you, very just feeling, honestly, because there's like, what do you say? You know, like, well, you can't talk, and we're all just kind of staring at each other, like,
Yeah.
And so Mike and Nate are sitting on one side, and Jen and I are sitting on the other. We're all just crying, you know, it's sad,
Very sad.
very sad. I'm laughing because something funny happened. Because if you know our family, something funny always happens,
So
right?
inappropriate.
But,
Maybe.
And Mike, you know, we're all going through the roller coaster of emotions, and Mike's like, I'm going to take a picture. I just want her, when she comes out of this and she gets better, I'm going to show her, like, look what you did, you know, like, this is how bad it got. This is, you know, what you thought was right. And I want you to see how bad it was, right? So he goes to take out his phone, and Jen and I are like, well, are we in the picture? Like, we're like tears streaming down our face. Like, are we so in the head? Like,
What's going on? We're in life support room. Say tea.
And we're like in the background, and Jen and I are like awkwardly scuffling, like, okay. And he goes to like lean over and take
It was pretty funny.
a picture. And all of a sudden he goes, iPhone storage.
No picture taken. It was so awkward for Mike. We're like, karma.
First of all, it's 2025. Who even has full iPhone storage anymore? You can buy like
Yeah, exactly.
so much storage for like 5 cents, right? I'm like,
So Mike.
and I'm like, oh. So he
So
just
then,
kind
of course, we broke out in laughter, which was so unnecessary. We were thinking, oh my God, what about everybody else in the back, like in the nurse's station, hearing us cracking up in the life support.
Is that the life support? Are they laughing in the life support room? And so Mike just kind of like sits down in defeat and, you know, not really being technologically inclined anyways. He's like, well, guess I'll take a picture. And Nate's like, give me your, I'll do it. So he did
Delete some photos.
Yeah. Nate's like, let me delete some stuff. And Jen and I are still sitting there awkwardly posed, crying, like, okay, are we taking a picture or not? Should we be in it? I don't know. So in moments of pure sadness and just awful feelings, we still laughed. So,
Yeah.
but you have to. We did that a lot of times.
We did
you
that.
know,
I remember when Bryce, my oldest son, when we called him in the before life support. Remember we had to call all the boys.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do it without you. So you
Mhm.
sat there with me and called these boys. It was so funny how I have 3 boys, and it was just so funny how they all 3 were so different with the situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Brody, of course, was very upset. Of course, all 3 of them were upset.
Yeah.
Brody was, you know, very, very upset. Then Brandon was more level-headed. And then there was Bryce that I said, how you doing? You okay? And he's like, no, I'm good. And then he goes, oh, no, I'm not good. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, this is weird. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So me and Tay was like, God, this is the first time I've laughed for hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you don't know what to say, right? I mean,
No.
it's a really hard situation.
I don't really think there's a right can say.
No, not at all. So, but I think we did take that picture. Have you seen it?
I have seen it. I saw it. It's been a while since I have seen it, but I actually asked him to show it to me because I wanted to see it, and he wanted to make sure I was ready to see it. And I did see it, and it's just still unbelievable.
How did it
It's
make you
just
feel seeing that picture?
sad, very sad, and disbelieved still about it. So yeah, I just still can't believe that was me laying there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just very scary, weird feeling. That's for sure. Yeah.
And I'm sure it's like an out of body experience. Because
Yeah.
obviously you were under anesthesia and you don't.
Oh yeah, I don't remember anything. I don't remember being in the hospital at all.
So, and that's probably a good thing.
Right. I think so. I think that is a good thing. Yeah.
So then from the life support, I remember Mike spending the night there with you. Me and Tay ended up leaving.
Yeah, it was that same day. And then they transported her while on life support to the ICU to another hospital.
Right.
And we went back the next day. Was it the next day or 2 days after?
It was the next
morning.
We were there about 9.
When they were extubating her.
Okay.
And I was on my way, but were you there? Was it just Mike?
Just 5 minutes before I got
Okay.
the life support, and Mike was there. And then that's when I walked in. That was not what I was expecting whatsoever. You actually looked pissed. Like you hated the world. And I just walked up to him and was like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. And really? Because I'm not. And I'm like, whoa. I go, well, just so you know, I'm really happy you're here. And then kind of like a thanks for not dying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I was kind of stymied. You're so pissed. I was like, what do you mean you're not glad you're not here?
Yeah.
But she doesn't remember any of that. I mean,
No.
it wasn't like her at all, like at all. Like you could tell you were not your normal self
Right.
whatsoever. And then pretty much from that moment for like hours and hours, we were just letting you tell us how you felt pretty much about each of us individually.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were telling us some things that made you mad that Mike did, some things that I made you mad, and some things that Kay made you mad.
Huh.
It was just, and then I remember
Nothing like that. I
No.
think it was just like I think how you were feeling for a little while. Nothing like you hated us
No.
or anything. Just
Right.
things that frustrated you, especially through the time that you were struggling with your depression that maybe you didn't understand.
And that's the word I was going to say. Remember, me and Tay and Mike even would say, we understand. And you were trying to tell us your feeling. We totally understand. And we're like, no, you don't. You don't understand.
I remember you being like, stop saying you understand.
Oh, yeah.
You don't understand. And we're like, okay, you're right. We don't.
Right.
We're just trying to empathize with you and make sure
Yeah.
we're here, we get it. And then, no, you don't.
And then
Yeah.
there was a babysitter. I guess
Yep.
you call it a babysitter, but when you sat there with us.
I don't know her technical name, but she was kind of just there to make sure my mom was safe,
Right.
essentially. Not with us, but she was a harm to
For
herself. So
yeah. She
you
was
weren't allowed to be
listening
left
in
alone.
on all of our conversations. I remember she chimed in. One moment. Do you remember exactly what the moment was that she kind of just interrupted? And
Yeah, because we had been just sitting I think Jen and I were both on your bed. Mike was right next to your bed. We were just sitting there for 3 hours probably at this point. And you just kept saying it's not going to get better. You don't understand. It's never going to get better. And she chimed in, and she was a younger girl, right?
she was only
20s.
23.
And she went into this field and into mental health because she had struggled herself. I can't remember her name, but she was so sweet. And that was the first time you kind of stopped talking for a minute and just listened to her talking. And she was saying that she struggled with mental health for years and years, throughout her childhood. And did she have a suicide attempt? I can't remember.
I don't think she did. I think she just really struggled with just her mental, not just her mental health, but seriously struggled really hard.
Yeah.
I think she was 11.
Yeah, and she had a rough childhood or something.
Yeah.
She was just saying, I've been here, maybe not exactly where you were, but I've been in this really low rut where I think it's never going to get better. You're just kind of at that point where you want to give up, and you had been there, and I think you were still kind of stuck there. Right. And she was like, it will get better. I promise you it does. You have to just keep fighting, and you have to force yourself through it. Because
Was she the one
will
that
get better.
brought up the EDMR affair?
Yeah, EMDR.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She the one that brought that up, and she said it helped her.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of looked into a little bit after that.
Yeah.
She talked for 30 minutes on and off after 4 hours because we kept asking her questions.
Yeah.
Too. And you were really
Of course. I was
willing to listen.
And I was going to say, of course, you. The first thing, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Here she goes again, worrying about other people.
Helping
It's
her.
can you focus on yourself for 1 minute, please? I love that she's sharing her story, but this is about you. You're like, oh, and you're okay now? I'm like, Mom, hello. You're struggling. You just
You're in
got
the hospital.
extubated from life support. Let's focus on you for a second.
Oh my gosh.
So, but yeah, that was interesting for sure to just see somebody else that had struggled that did make it through.
Yeah,
kind of saw the light.
exactly.
She seemed to be doing really well now, so that was encouraging for us.
And now I believe her because
Yes.
I'm better for sure. Yeah, it
And
does
then I
get better.
think after that, I think it was around 4 o'clock. And remember, she was so scared to go up to the psych
Yes.
because you had to go to the psych ward
It was
upstairs.
mandatory, right?
You got like pink slip.
Right.
Mhm. And then you were so scared, and they were so nice there because they brought down a couple of the nurses from the psych ward area just to kind of help calm your nerves.
Okay.
Because you were, I thought maybe you were going to put a straight jacket. I really did because you were so, and that made me nervous and Taylor nervous and Mike nervous. But they brought down 2 or 3
Yeah.
psych nurses that were up in that ward, and they were just seriously were so patient with you and was talking to you. You were asking them questions, and they were asking you questions, and then I think it was around 4 p.m. that day, and took you up there, and it was scary for us too because
Yeah.
you know we never know what to expect with that kind of an ordeal type thing, and not knowing how you are and not being able to contact you only specific times, which is 1 hour every day from 5 to 6 p.m.
To call me.
Not even, yeah. Well, no, I think we could call you.
We could call it any time there, right? Because I think we might be confusing it with the trail
Yeah.
description later. That was more strict with the phone times. But we could kind of call whenever. But visiting, like in person, was this the one? This wasn't the one person. This was 2 people at a time, right?
2 people, yeah.
1 hour every other day, maybe. They would say Friday.
Yeah.
The people would come see you, so we would kind of rotate.
I remember like very, very little of the psych ward. I told Jen earlier today that I remember like I have flashes of it. Like I am starting to remember little bits and pieces of it. But
Of
So
that
that-
one specifically,
of that
or just
one
in general,
specifically.
you think you're just flashing?
in general, yeah. In general, I am starting to become, or not become, but I am starting to see little things. I can kind of picture it.
How does it make you feel when you can?
Good, actually, it makes me start feeling like I'm remembering things. So it's a good feeling.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a relief in a way.
Yeah, that it kind of comes back.
Yeah.
and kind of
Yeah.
makes it for yourself.
Yes, definitely.
Do you remember going like the nurses coming up or anything?
No.
Or none of that. You just
No.
little flashes.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, just little flashes, like little picture flashes in my head. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can still picture like where the phones were, and I actually remember getting when I first got there. I actually remember getting like had to undress and pat it down and make sure I didn't have anything on me. I remember that. Just little bits and pieces of it, yeah, here and there. I remember a little bit of the people there, and I remember having to have like group sessions
Yeah.
with the people that were there, and I remember everybody was really nice. I do remember that. Yeah.
Well, and kind of touching on the group session thing, you know, like you said before, you were so brave the first time to voluntarily check yourself into a psych ward again. You think, okay, this is going to be more like one-on-one, really individualized for you to help you, you know, get better. And when you're in these places, it's not like that, right?
Right.
Your one-on-one is like maybe 5 minutes with a doctor,
Right.
like going over your med, the new med they put you on,
Right.
or the med they took you off of, or they're switching something up, and you only get these like 5 minutes. And I know for you, your mind was kind of all over the place, so we were trying to help you write things down. So you were doing that, and then these group sessions, it wouldn't even be therapy. It wouldn't even be talking. It would just be coloring.
I was going to say coloring.
Yeah.
I remember one time, I do remember now that it was like a music therapy. Like we would pick our favorite song
Yeah.
and they would bring it up over this YouTube on the TV, and we would all just listen to whatever person picked up their favorite song. And we would just listen to that. And I remember that being kind of fun, actually.
Do you remember what song you picked?
Joy of My Life. Yeah. I
I
do remember that. That was Taylor's wedding song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I remember when you were telling us that you picked that song, you actually cried.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like one of the first times I had seen you cry in a while because you were just kind of more zombified.
Yeah.
So I remember
no emotion.
no
all
emotions, no
the
happiness,
time.
no sadness, no anger, like nothing.
Yeah.
And so that kind of was, we were like, she has an emotion.
Yeah.
And the
Right.
And we were so happy to see you cry.
Yeah,
It sounds
honestly.
horrible, but
It
it
does.
was. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So that, yeah, I just think it's really sad how you go to a place like this to get help and it's not what you think it is at all.
Exactly.
And yeah, I remember you kept saying that was you were in preschool. Coloring.
Yeah, I did.
Puzzles. I remember you kept saying that over and over.
Right.
I mean, it was
Well,
just
I think it did help
sad.
me. It really probably did help me.
In
It
the
probably
long
did
run,
long run.
yes.
I remember you saying that
Yes.
though, and then it was more frustrating because me and Jay
Right.
were always like, "Are we trying?"
Right.
That's what it
Yeah,
seemed like you're
exactly.
getting, like
Right.
complaining about it.
Right.
And frustrated.
So you were there for 4 days, or I think, right, at the
I think she
psych
went in
ward
there
then? Or was it like a week that
It
time?
wasn't quite that long because I remember I went to golf Thursday
Okay.
because I remember she went in Sunday, and then I had to we picked her up at the psych ward that 10 a.m. that Wednesday morning
Okay.
to take her to the trail. And then I had to leave that early Thursday morning for my flight to Washington.
Okay.
So yeah, narrowed
So-
it down that way.
Yep. And then the whole trails conversation kind of started because we touched on this a little bit previously. You know, you get in there, you see a doctor for like 5 minutes a day, and I'm like, all right, well, let's send you home. And we're like, whoa, 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 whoa.
At the psych ward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're like, send her home. I mean, she's still not herself. We can see it.
Mm-hmm.
She just tried to commit suicide just a few days ago. She just got off life support, and you think she woke up, nothing's changed mentally, switched her medications, something that's going to take 6 to 8 weeks to kick in. You want to send her home?
Oh, we were terrified.
Oh my gosh, I remember
Terrified
being
for you to go
so scared.
We went home and did so much research, so many three-way calls with me, Mike, and Taylor, and just trying to figure out what we can do because we had no way of keeping you safe when you came home. I mean, it's scary keeping you safe from yourself.
Right.
And that was the most terrifying thing. Was we can't have you.
Right. Because it happened.
We did not trust you at
Yeah.
all.
No. At that point, the trust was really broken because you had told us so many times, I would never do that. I would never do that. And of course, we believe you because we never thought you would do that.
Right.
And then for you to do something like that, and then your mentality still clearly not changed, it was just inevitable that it was going to happen again at that moment. Right.
Oh, yeah.
So we're like, well, I feel like we're just setting her up for failure if we just let her go
Oh,
home. And also for Mike, that's so much pressure for him. I mean, he has to get rid of everything. He would have to get rid of everything in the house.
So do you want to explain what the
Danger.
trails is?
Yeah, so the Trails was a private treatment center, inpatient, kind of in like Southern Ohio, just in the middle of nowhere, honestly. It was like this really big house out in the
Beautiful.
woods. It was
Yeah, it was like
beautiful.
a 8-bedroom, 5-bathroom house,
Yeah.
I believe. Something
Mhm.
like that. Yeah.
And it was a place that was mental illness only because some of treatment centers take like addiction and like alcoholics and mental health like all combined. And we were hoping this one would really help you because it would be more specific to what you needed. And
We
you
wanted
to get
you
a
to
little
be
bit more attention.
Open up more with
Right.
the people that have the same illness as you.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of having to open yourself up. And I think that's why you didn't open yourself up at your group therapies and the psych wards, because there were so many different other illnesses there that I don't think you could like feel connected to.
Right. There wasn't like depression.
And you weren't really
Right.
sure who was who in those group settings. With
What they were struggling with.
what they were struggling with, and the trails, you knew all of them had the same mental disease you did.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Another thing with the Trails, though, obviously, we've kind of touched on it before, but it's horrible how mental health and, you know, insurance, nothing really is covered.
You know,
It's horrible.
it
The
is
fact that
so not fair.
you have to pay out of pocket to try to make your mental health better. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And it should be something that's included no matter what, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter how much money you make. You should not have to either go broke or be in so much debt to get help.
Right.
It just should not be that way. So
The
the
system
Trails,
is so-
the system is awful. And I really, really empathize with people that don't have the funds to, you know, get help because some people just don't, right? I mean, even just to see a normal doctor, some people can't even afford to do that. It's
No.
horrible. That's probably a whole other sidebar conversation, but being so engulfed in the situation with you, it's just horrible to see how hard it is to get help,
Right.
money wise, and, you know, trying to just see somebody and it be, you know, overloaded in general with patients. But trust me, we get it that it's awful. The system is horrible. It's sad.
Yeah.
It really is.
So do you remember not wanting to go to the trails at first?
Oh, yeah.
You have it's voluntary. You
I
had
do
to
remember
convince
that.
you
Yes,
to
it is
go.
voluntary because we
Yeah.
were even trying to convince her doctor to tell her
Yes.
that she should go. And he was kind of at first like, no, I don't think she needs it. And we're thinking, how the hell can you look at this person and think she doesn't need it?
Right.
Right? It seemed like a joke. Like it seemed
Mhm.
like he didn't care. And sometimes they don't, you know, they don't. And that's the other sad thing. with
So
the
it was
system.
so hard for us
Yeah.
to like try to convince you.
Oh, I remember the phone call when I was at this whiteboard from you.
Mhm.
You're the one that called and basically told me I have to do this. At first, I was like so against it, and I know you were looking at quite a few different ones at the time.
Yeah, we were,
There
but
was,
they
like-
were all in Ohio, right? I think we were looking like
We
a
wanted
little
you
bit farther
close.
away. We wanted you close so we could see you,
Right.
but
Which
we
was
were-
still a 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
trails was 3 hours
Yeah.
regardless. So
But I remember, I remember it didn't take long for me to realize that I really did need to go somewhere because I didn't want you guys to worry about me being home right after, attempted suicide. I don't blame you for being worried. I do not blame you for wanting me to go there. So I kind of think I just called you back, didn't I? Did it take me a little bit? I remember.
I honestly don't remember. I think, well, yeah, it did take you a little bit because I think it was a day that you and Mike were going to go visit her and you printed off stuff to
Yep.
show her because
Yeah.
that's the other thing. When you go in to visit her,
it's like
as a visitor, you can't have your phone, you can't have zippers, you can't have hoods, you can't have strings. Very strict rules, right? Which I understand.
Yeah.
But for us to try to convince her to go to a place for 30 days or however long, we had to give her something to show her, right? Because we're like, oh, it's this really nice place.
we can't show her the website.
No.
It's on her phone.
Yeah.
And we couldn't just say, oh, look this up. She couldn't. She didn't have access to anything. So I remember you printed off pictures and I was on the phone telling her, like, I know it's really scary, but I promise it's nice. You're hopefully going to have your own bedroom and a bathroom and you can make your own food there. And
Well, I remember it being when you said 30 days and it was going to be during Thanksgiving and I'd have to be there. That was hard.
Well, especially because she didn't have to be there 30 days, but they recommended the
Yeah.
most benefits that you could get would be at least 30,
Okay.
if not longer. So that was the part too. We kept trying to not say you could leave any time because we didn't want to have that put in your head.
Oh,
Because we really wanted you to stay there at least the full 30 days and then go from there. But I remember you seeing it on a piece of paper that I printed off and it said, you couldn't even call us.
yeah, it was
And that freaks you out.
one call a week, wasn't it?
yeah.
Well, one call no was on, I think it was twice a week,
Okay.
but we couldn't, it wasn't like you could call, Mike could call, I could call. We all had to be three. We called in.
And we had to be ready.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. We had our phone.
I
hooked
think
to
it
us.
was like 6 o'clock every Wednesday or something.
Right.
And then I remember too, because sometimes she wouldn't call and then we'd be texting each other like, is anybody on
Right.
the phone with her? Like, hello, have you heard
And
from
you
her?
like, put me in?
And there was no
Add
way
me?
for us to really call in. So we would go, oh man, and then she would call.
Is she okay?
Someone miss it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, so I think we kind of said it to her like, well, maybe would you just be willing to try it for 1 week?
Mm-hmm.
Just try it out, see what you think. And I think that's kind of how we got her like on board.
And then you can go farther, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And you did it.
Yeah.
You did it.
I was there for the
And it was hell, but we did. I was
4
packing
weeks,
the
yeah.
clothes for that. Oh my God. Did you not allowed to have anything open, like your shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, everything has to be brand new. And then you could have a limit of so many pants, so many workout clothes, so many t-shirts, no hood, no strings.
Mm-hmm.
So I was cutting things off. It was, and then we had
Buying stuff.
oh,
Yeah.
my God. I've been going through that.
Yeah.
Yes, it was complicated.
And then you still couldn't have your phone. And you really wanted to be able to listen to music because you wanted to try to meditate. and do
Oh,
all these
yeah.
things. So I bought this little MP3 player and I
Mhm.
downloaded all this music on there for you.
Yeah.
And left you like a little voice recording
Yeah.
that you could listen to and
That was
made
so
a binder and I wrote for all the days that you're going to be there. I wrote like little affirmations.
Oh,
that you
yeah.
could pull one out.
the pictures.
And I taped it on the wall.
Yeah.
First day, I think it was twice a day.
Yep.
Yeah, twice a day I would pick one up and I would tape it to the wall.
And then we all printed out
Have
a
a countdown.
ton of pictures.
a ton of pictures. You made a little photo album.
Yeah.
So you could see us and Fitz, and
Yeah.
the boys,
Yeah, and I
Mike,
taped
your
those
other
up.
grandsons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to give you something kind of to look forward
Yeah,
to.
that was so nice of
too.
you guys to do
We could
that.
only see you every Sunday as
Yeah.
well for an hour.
Right.
So yeah, so after what, like 4 days, she got discharged, I guess,
Mhm.
right? And we were able to take her to the trails, and we all went and picked her up, and we went and stopped for lunch and went to get changed.
And I remember I was so nervous. I
Yeah.
was so nervous to go. Yeah.
But you handled it way better
She
than I
did.
thought you would.
Did I?
You really did. And I remember you doing your makeup in the car. Because I was like, wow, you want to actually look pretty? Because before that, you didn't even care what you looked like.
Really?
You were just like, nah, I'm fine. No, you didn't even care what you looked like at all. So we were just kind of excited. Like maybe we had a little light up thing in the car, in the back seat. And you put the makeup on.
I was probably plucking my
Plucking the hairs.
Plucking
Like
your
this.
hairs. And then you did something. You had a little. Well, you thought it was a whitening tooth stick.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
What was it?
It was a ring cleaner.
It was your ring cleaner. And you're like doing your teeth, and then I heard you laugh, and I'm like, you laugh?
Yeah.
Because we haven't heard her laugh in so long.
Definitely,
And
we
we're
have
like,
not.
what? And you're like, I just put my ring cleaner on my teeth. We're like, what? I'm
Like,
like,
are
should
you poisoning
we call
yourself?
poison control?
Yeah,
Was
right?
that intentional? Take her back.
I remember that now. That's funny.
And then took you to the trails, and that was hard. Leaving her there.
Oh yeah.
So we hit that one bump. Remember how hilly it was? And about we launched off the hill because it was so
It was in the
hilly. It was
middle
way,
of
it's
nowhere.
so remote back where the trails is. So yeah, it was sad.
Do you remember getting to the trails at all?
Oh yeah, I do.
So how did you feel when you first got there? Kind of take us through what was going
I
through
was
your head.
very, very nervous. I remember actually we were in that little office at the beginning, and I remember hearing people behind the doors, and I know there was a group of people that were living there at the time, and they were watching the movie. I remember the movie now, and it was, what was the name of that movie? Inside Out. And Inside Out was the movie, and you're like, oh, did we
The
just
Disney
watch
movie.
it? Or?
We started it at one point.
Started
because I
it
was
at one
telling
point.
you about
Yeah.
it.
So they were watching that movie. I remember that. And I remember peeking in there, and they kind of waved, and they were pretty friendly. But I remember you guys leaving, the door shutting. I walked you guys out. I didn't want you guys to leave. That's for sure. And I bawled. I cried my eyes out right after you guys left. Yeah, it was
So did
hard.
we.
It was very hard knowing I was going to be gone for 30 days. It was a long time and no communication. So yeah,
Yeah, because we also couldn't talk to her for the first full week she was there.
First vote. Well,
Like, right? Wasn't it something
no,
like that?
actually, they did say that. 'Cause I remember it was my second day at Gulfshore, and you called, and I was like, what the heck? What's on the other line? Gosh, so yeah. I think it was just kind of like a real quick call that they allowed. They wanted to make sure we knew you were settling in okay, and yeah, so that was a relief to do.
yeah, I bet. But yeah, then I had shared a room at the time, and I remember my roommate went up and showed me my room, and she was very, very nice. But she was getting ready to leave like 2 days later, so I ended up having my own room. So I was really excited. Like sweet. But since that first day, that's kind of all I remember. That first day for a while, and I remember having breakfast in the morning with a group of people who were all on our own and making our own food. They would provide the food, but we'd have to make our own meals.
Which kind of
So
like
you had to
humanized you.
Yeah, I had to cook.
Yeah. Which you didn't want to do for
You know
a
how
while.
much you love cooking.
Yeah, exactly.
But it kind of made you feel a little bit more like a person, right?
Yeah, it did.
To like these psych wards in the hospital. You were
Right.
able to put makeup on and do your hair.
Right.
And you could go outside
Yep,
and
exactly.
cook
Yeah.
food. And I know that made you feel good.
Just being able to go outside, I think, was
Yes.
a big part of it. I really miss being just outdoors, and it was a beautiful area. I would recommend the trails to people that can go there and get help there. I would recommend it for sure, because we had therapy and my private one-on-one therapist, I think twice a week, and then group therapy every day with a little group of people that were there. And there was probably 10 of us, men and women, both. And everybody was very, very nice. We all had pretty similar stories. We didn't have to share our stories, but we all ended up sharing our stories with each other when it was time, when it felt fine to do that. But
Do you think the group therapies there were more helpful than the in the psych ward? I know the psych ward ones were kind of like art and music.
I think
Were
so.
these group therapies more like actually talking about their feelings?
From what I can remember, for some reason, I don't quite remember. I remember having group therapy, but I don't really remember exactly what they were.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, I remember you telling us during your group therapies that you would share more about your struggles there. So I think it probably was a little bit more in depth.
Probably.
You don't remember.
Right.
I think because other people were sharing their stories
Right.
and they were similar, I think that really helped you being able to feel right about sharing those.
Right. And that's another reason why I want to do this podcast, so other people know that they're not alone.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it made you feel like a little bit of a sense of community in something that you think
Right.
a lot of people don't struggle with
Don't.
or don't know about.
Don't open up about it.
Yeah. And talking to somebody that, other people had tried to commit suicide there as well.
Right.
They had kind of a similar mindset, and it was easier for you
Right.
to open up to that because you
Exactly.
thought they could relate.
I felt more comfortable talking about it and opening up about it. And then I didn't even feel as alone in my struggles as well, because other people were there as well. And I realized there are other people out there dealing with this depression, anxiety. And I'm not the only one in the world. That's what it feels like when you're going through it. It does feel that way. Yeah.
I'm sure.
So maybe next episode, do you kind of want to touch on your time at the trails?
Yeah,
And
definitely. I'll try to brush up on that. I'll try to really think about it.
Yeah, maybe
See
look
what
back
I
at
could-
some, I guess you
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah.
Or even want to have pictures
Yeah.
or take pictures, I guess.
Hopefully I'll
maybe
have
you
a-
could go through the binder that we made and stuff, and maybe
Oh,
you
yeah.
could trigger some.
There.
Well, I wrote in a journal.
Yep, and
I
you
wrote in a journal. I just remembered that.
There we
I'll
go.
go back to
Go.
the journals.
Her memories
And I'll
back right here live.
It'll be kind of fun to go back through
Yeah.
that. Yeah, kind of interesting. Yeah. So yeah, I'll definitely rehash that.
Yeah.
We can talk about that next time. Yeah.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. And
Yeah,
make
thanks for
sure-
sitting in on our therapy
Yeah.
sessions.
Thank you, and thanks for not dying.
You're welcome.
Thanks for not dying. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care of your mental health, everybody.
Bye.